Hey there! We'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you're helping us spread the word and connect with more amazing people like you.
Welcome to We Be Parents, where parent doctors Matthew Letterman and Alona Pulday explore current parenting topics, share stories, and help bring families closer together.
Hello, and welcome back to We Be Parents. Last week, we talked about how we often offer more softness to our kids than to our partners, and how presence in a relationship isn't passive. It's something we actively practice.
Yes, I enjoy this topic, and today we get to sit with some real stories that bring all that to life. It's so important. This 30-second container really has made a big difference in everything. Just that intention, and what's really helpful is that you not only have to do it on your own, the other partner can help you remember. So it's really a partnership. It's a collaboration.
Yeah. And that 30-second container was the tool that we introduced. So just a quick recap of kind of the topic.
Before we recap, we got to ask people to subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Come on, share it. Whether you like it or not, you got to share this, okay?
Share, subscribe, rate, review. We really appreciate it. We love the feedback.
Yes, Alona loves feedback. I don't love it.
Address it to me. Okay. Just a recap of what we talked about last week was that we're often gentler with our kids than our partners. And it's not because we love our partners less, but because we've stopped actively tending to the relationship, whether we're taking it for granted or we're so lost in logistics and productivity and efficiency, we forget that you can have the both and, run a successful household and have it filled with love and joy.
It's so important. It's so important because love and more importantly, connection doesn't disappear with one big blow for most partnerships. Mm-hmm. It drifts away in this sort of absence of daily tenderness.
Yes, agreed. And the tool that we talked about was the 30-second container, which I invite you to go back and listen to in more detail. But the invitation is to pause before you're venting to your partner, before you're about to give them a judgment or a criticism, or you get lost in a triggering thought.
To wrap it up.
To wrap it up, to pause, to ask for consent, whether it's to ask for consent for a container, to create a space to be held and to be held with care and not collision or rejection.
Because when you're venting, you need care. Even though you're harder and you're angry or whatever, that's just a guarded heart around pain.
Yes, whether you're venting to your partner or you're venting internally to yourself about your partner.
Yes, and that's why if you know that you're in pain and you know that you need care, increase the chances that you're going to get care back. Because often when we talk in anger, we're decreasing the chances we're going to get care back. We're going to cause them to get scared, pull away, defend, protect.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week, is that when something comes at you perceived as an attack and you have no context for it, no warning, your natural state is going to be fight, flight, defend, protect. This is dangerous. Yes, so I love that tool, and it becomes so useful in so many different situations.
And the easy way to think about it is, imagine you have a package that's a little bit of a bomb. And before you go and hand this bomb to the other person, you're going to name that you have a bomb. You're going to check in with them if they have capacity to take your bomb. And then you're ideally going to wrap it in some bubble wrap to make the bomb a little easier to carry and receive.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so what are some of the stories that we want to share with the listeners?
Before we get into the letters, there was this one story that the school in Colorado tested a ritual where parents give a 2-minute uninterrupted hug at pickup. No phone, no multitasking, and within a week, teachers noted calmer after-school transitions and more regulated behaviors at home. So these little rituals of care. So we talked about one specifically around venting, but the whole idea is to create these little rituals of care and to see how that infuses life back into relationships.
I love that on so many levels. This is an example with the kids, but this is something that you can do with your partner as well. And it's about intention. You come, you're present to the moment. You're not distracted by other things. There's care and contribution even to another person and very intentional showing up in that way. And I love that. And I imagine the impact is so great. And if you can do that on a regular basis, that impact accumulates too. You feel it.
Yeah. I'm actually, if I'm being authentic right now, which I am feeling a little bit of sadness and guilt because I'm getting some images of when I'll pick up the kids and I'm just finishing something, like I'm in the middle of an email, I'm in the middle of a call, and I'm finishing. And I just connected to it's not like it's news to me, but I just got this little image of, that 2-minute ritual. And then I could always say, hey, hold on a second, I got to finish what I was doing. But I wanted to be 2 minutes of full presence right when I see you, how big an impact that can be. And I teach this stuff, and I myself am not always doing it. So I just got that note. I think it's important to name when that stuff comes up. And then, hey, we're doing the best we can too.
Yeah, I mean, life happens. There are some days that you're going to be available for that and some days that you're not. And your children do want to receive that in authenticity, not out of obligation.
Right. But those rituals, I think, are key. Yes. If I just sort of go in there and I'm like, okay, let me finish, I'm just picking up the kids.
Yes.
Versus I'm picking up the kids with our 2-minute ritual.
Yes.
Those rituals are helpful.
It helps you set the intention, I think. That's the biggest power that has, is it brings you to presence. And in that presence is that intention to show up with care and love and kindness. So yes, I think there's tremendous value, and I think there's grace for...
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the best we can. When I get those feelings, it's not to push them away or to try and make them feel better. It's to say, there's opportunity to meet my needs more effectively than I have been. And these routines, same thing with waking up. How do I want to wake up? Do I want to come down with an energy of connection and aliveness? Or am I coming down like, another day? And before I walk out the door, I can change my focus and my actions and my thoughts to align with that intention.
Absolutely.
So I think this is just another, and the rituals of me, for example, listening to this song before I come out the door in the morning is the same as that 2-minute uninterrupted hug at pickup.
Yes. I have a story. I love this story. A woman went viral on TikTok after sharing that she started thanking her partner for every small thing, making the bed, managing a meltdown, ordering the groceries. But it's not what she did, but what she said about it. It wasn't performative. It was a daily act of seeing. And how beautiful is that? I see you. I see you making the bed, and it contributes to me. I see you. You shared actually impact today and our interaction around seeing you when you were sharing, when you called this morning about your dad. I don't know if you want to share that story, but the idea, it felt so beautiful to receive. I see you. And for you to maybe hear, I see you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when you basically said, hey, your dad's sick right now. If you need some help with him, whatever you need, we'll figure it out. If you need to fly over there or whatever. And I said, thank you very much. But I sort of glossed over it. I said the thank you. Mm-hmm. But then when I hung up, the kids were in the car and they said, wow, that was awesome. Mom was going to drop anything for you, Dad. That's really cool. Everybody needs an Alona, but not this one. Like, don't take ours. And then I said, oh, wow. And then I connected to actually feeling it in my body, the appreciation for someone that was willing to do whatever it took to help me connect with and support my father. So then I said to the girls, I think I should call Mom back and give her a real appreciation. It felt, heartfelt appreciation. And they said, yeah, you should. So I called you back and I appreciated you. And you said that felt really good.
It felt so tender and so beautiful. Yeah, I, generated a smile from ear to ear, and it really touched my heart. But I think, you talked about that in a previous episode. When you show up and with that vulnerability and that care and that love, there is this mirroring that happens. I feel it. I sense it. I naturally am absorbing it. And it really feels great.
And it ripples.
Yeah, it's a ripple. Absolutely.
Yeah, one of our Substack articles was about finding joy in the car rental return lot in Newark Airport. And it was similar, where someone came up and just smiled at me, and it was this genuine smile. And I said, so I appreciated with a heartfelt, genuine, your smile really made a difference.
Yeah, it happens in micro moments. We went to Whole Foods Market the other day, and there was a cashier there, and she just gave you the sensation that you were Disneyland. She was so excited to see you, and she was so open and sweet and kind that, Jordan was there with us, and I absolutely fell in love with this woman. But such a sparkly personality, and all three of us left Whole Foods talking about this woman and how wonderful it felt to be in her presence for that time.
I know. And then we came home and said, Kylie, you got to go to Whole Foods.
You got to go
meet this person.
Yeah.
And she was in her 20s and just was showing up full of life.
Yes.
And connecting to people. And then there was part of me, because it was so alive, that I was almost judging and taken aback, where I was like, is there something wrong with this person? All they were was really nice and caring and fun and present. And
meanwhile, I'm like, Jordan, come here.
So it's like, but my body is sort of like, hey, but we can have as much joy as we want to open ourselves to and find in the moment.
Yes.
And then that changes someone else's day. So again, how you show up.
Absolutely. Yeah. She changed our morning for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So if you've been listening to us for a while, we get a lot of questions about what to do in tricky parenting or relationship moments.
Yeah, and if I'm being real, I'm asking Alona those same questions all the time. I get into those same tricky moments as everybody else does. And as much as we wish we could be there for each other in those exact moments, we just can't always be.
Yeah, that's why we partnered with the amazing team at Kinectin to create something we truly believe in, an AI coach called Amari. And we didn't just lend our names, we helped build it and train it and brought in everything we've learned about emotional healing, connection, and communication.
Yeah, we spent years training and learning, and we've created Amari, who is so calm and grounded, listens deeply and responds with warmth, clarity, and compassion. There's no judgment, no reactivity. In fact, we tasked our children with trying to get Amari reactive, and they still haven't succeeded. It's just steady support when you need it most.
We use it ourselves all the time, especially when we feel stuck or overwhelmed. And Amari's really helped us pause, reflect, given us insight that helps us come back to each other.
Yeah, we designed Amari to help you strengthen the relationships that matter most, starting with the one you have with yourself.
And we are so excited that you can try it now at webeparents.com and click on WeBeConnectin with a K to sign up. And when you have your Amari moment, please let us know, as we'd love to hear about it.
All right, so what do we have from our listeners today?
So here's the one here that says, I tried the 30-second container with my husband, but he sort of laughed it off. I felt embarrassed and shut down. What do I do when the person I'm trying to connect with doesn't respond how I hoped? So,
oof.
Yeah.
That's really vulnerable and tender, and I imagine also stimulates hurt.
Yeah. Sadness, hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe a little hopeless.
And when you're vulnerable like that and it's not received or it's brushed off.
Yeah. So you're coming out there trying to increase connection, and it just doesn't land for the other person.
And I think, not to excuse it, but I think one of the things that happens, and it happens to so many of us, so many of us run on survival mode. We run in a fight-flight state. And in a fight-flight state, everything is dangerous. And so stepping into vulnerability is extremely dangerous. You can't see all the balls on the court if you go vulnerable. And so there's a defensiveness, a rejection of it out of fear versus a dismissal or a rejection of the other person.
Yeah. And when you feel, first thing I would do is just do some self-connection or get empathy from a friend. When you're feeling embarrassed and you have this thought that you're being shut down, it's just to connect to that pain of embarrassment. And I really want to be accepted and understood. And I really value openness and curiosity and willingness to grow together. And I didn't get that in this moment. And even if it didn't resonate for somebody, I would love for them to respond with care, because when they laugh at it, I start to have thoughts that this doesn't matter, and that our relationship maybe doesn't matter, and that maybe they don't care. So there's all this pain in you, and just to connect to that. And then once you've done that self-connection, and not before you've done that self-connection and gotten enough empathy for your pain, then we can start to empathize with what his feelings and needs were.
And I think there's a lot of other things that, one is when you are bringing something new home and the family is unfamiliar with it, there will be a natural sense of, ooh, can I trust this? What's happening here? And so the importance of explaining, hey, I'm really going to work on how I'm showing up. And part of that is practicing this 30-second container.
So you're saying for them to practice how they're going to respond regardless of...
Well, also to bring it to the family. I'm going to start practicing this. So the family, it's like that.
You don't
Saying
need
the
them.
30-second container is also letting them know you're going to be sharing in this space. Now, the 30-second container, we also have to remember, is not a demand. It's a request, which means somebody can say, hey, I'm not available for this. And then it gets to, we can't change how somebody else is going to respond. That's whatever is going on through their filter that's leading them to respond in that way.
Yeah.
But if we can honor our own intention and continue to show up the way that we choose to show up, regardless of how people are responding, and that's so hard, especially with people in your inner circle that you love and engage with on a daily basis. But if it is our intention to show up differently regardless, then how they respond shouldn't change that.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Exactly. You're going to show up and you're going to deliver this care without expectation that they're going to respond in a certain way. There could be hope, and it makes sense that you have that hope. But I think it also might be helpful if we do a quick little role play to show how you respond if somebody laughs. So if I said, hey, Alona, I want to do this 30-second container. And you...
Okay.
Exactly. And I'll say, when you laugh, so first I empathize with you. I don't share my needs. I focus on yours, which is, hey, when you laugh, maybe is this not making sense? So you see, I'm trying to be curious about this. Hey, is this not making sense? Is this like a little bit? It's unusual.
Sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah. It's not something you're used to doing. This is so out of the ordinary.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah. So it's also not clear, like, why we even have to do this. If it made sense, maybe then you would be interested in doing it if you knew why.
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me why.
Well, before I tell you why, I want you to hear that this is not a demand. That it's just something that's really gonna. My hope is I love you so much, and I want to have as much care for, going your way and coming my way. And I know you value the same care. And this is a way to maybe increase that care.
Aww. How do you not lean into that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you see how it's just being curious and then seeing their good intentions behind. When people laugh or do that, they're just protecting themselves from some discomfort or lack of understanding, or they're hearing a demand, but they're not comfortable saying it. So all of those things can help you see their good intention behind a potentially painful expression.
Yes. I think you named also so often, maybe always, but I'd have to think about that one. But so often, our judgments come out of our own discomfort.
Yes.
Our own discomfort with vulnerability, our own discomfort with trusting in the moment, our, whatever that may be.
Yeah. So that's, I always think that it's helpful when I can get to curiosity and not take the laughing personally. So if you're saying, hey, I just want to care and love you, and he laughs at you, and you think he's laughing at your desire to care and love them, you could take that personally. But if you realize that, hey, I know nobody would laugh at care and love, so I wonder if there's something else there. What could he be laughing at? Oh, maybe he's laughing because he's uncomfortable because he doesn't really understand this or thinks he's going to have to do something he's not comfortable doing. Oh, I get it. So he's laughing because he's uncomfortable. Well, that makes sense. Of course he's going to laugh. So do you see how I'm curious versus taking it personally? I'm trying to be curious about, what's the good reason behind his laughing? There's got to be one.
This episode of We Be Parents is brought to you by We Be Calm, the child calmer designed by doctors and loved by parents.
Struggling with bedtime routines or managing your child's anxiety? We Be Calm transforms deep breathing into a fun and engaging activity, helping kids find their inner calm. Perfect for bedtime stressful moments or anytime your child needs a little extra help to stay calm. Visit webecalm.com to learn more and bring tranquility to your family. We Be Calm, because we be in this together.
All right, you want to hit him with another letter?
Oh, this one. My kids see how cold we are to each other. I'm scared that they'll think that's normal. Is it too late to change this? Oh, that fear is so real. And it's such a loving sign about how deeply you care about your children and how you care about the relationship too, is noticing, hey, this is how we show up. It's not how I want to show up for myself, for my partner, or for my children.
Exactly. And that to me is so important, that you name what we all are feeling. If you are sensing that your kids can see how cold you are to each other, odds are that they see how cold you are to each other.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to pretend that doesn't exist.
But I think also it's important to remember that kids don't need perfect parents. They need parents who can return. And one of the biggest ways to come back is with a redo or repair. So no, it is not too late. But naming it, sharing why you want to do it differently, why that's important to you, to you for your partner, to you for your kids. And repair is one of the most powerful forms that we can model for our children, to show them that you do not have to be perfect. You just have to show up.
And be authentic.
Yes, and you can show up sharing a regret, sharing a mistake.
Well, and odds are this has happened over a long period of time. So it's not going to be fixed overnight.
Yes.
But if you and your partner are really committed to showing up differently, and you name that with your children, and then as a family, we talked about bringing it home in the last episode, as a family, you work together to create these 30-second care containers. You can start peppering those in.
And inviting the kids to name it. So a lot of, not always coldness toward each other indicates a loss of love or a failure in a marriage. It can be very indicative of getting lost in that transaction and that logistics and that efficiency mode.
Exactly.
And in that, there's distance that's created. Over time, that distance gets greater and greater and greater.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point. Coldness doesn't necessarily mean harshness or being, mean to each other. It could just be the absence of warmth.
Yes.
And then if that's the case, then you can say, hey, we all value care and warmth. What are ways that we can increase warmth?
Yes.
And you and I have, spent years, and I think it's an ongoing thing, working on our relationship, working on our marriage, working on our personal growth, working on our parenting. And so much of it comes back to how you show up.
Yeah.
Even though we think it's the other person, if we show up, if we do our work and we show up differently, everybody around you shows up differently.
Yes, we show up and spend a lot of energy intentionally showing up differently for our children. And we need to take some of that energy also into how we show up for each other.
Yes. And I imagine it will be very hard for your partner to show up the same way when all of a sudden you show up with a different level of care and warmth. So give it a shot. I think that people will ask me that a lot about nonviolent communication. Well, if my partner is not willing to learn this, does it still work? And it's really not about working. It's really about how you show up and how you interact with people, regardless of how they respond. So let's jump into one more letter. All right, so this one is, we use the tool and it helps, but I notice I still want to fix the feelings my partner brings. How do I stay with them instead of trying to make them feel better? Oof.
Yeah, that impulse to fix is great.
That was
Yes,
that was a big
my
learning for you.
Yes. I am definitely helper personality. I just want to come in and fix it and make it go away and make you feel better.
And you have great ideas. So you're like, this will definitely fix that problem.
Yes.
And it usually
At least
will.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
Well, often you have, you're resourceful, you have good ideas.
But
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's not where the other person's at or what they're needing in the moment. And I think empathy is a really hard, we're very conditioned to sympathy and to fixing and repairing. And sitting with empathy is hard because it's hard to sit with someone you love and their pain and hold that container for them.
It is hard.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes we have this voice inside our heads that's saying, you're not doing anything. You're not solving the problem. You're not fixing it. But if the goal is connection and inner peace, if those are your signs of success, then solving the problem often is not your path, is not your way to get there.
Well, solving the problem, that's the thing. Like, I think I can solve the problem. I have a solution to the problem, but the underlying the problem is what you're really needing, which is to be seen and to be held with care. And so it's kind of funny because empathy is what fixes the problem in the moment. If you really want to fix the problem, you give your partner or your child a space to be seen, a space to be heard, and a space to even eventually be open to what to do about it.
And the problem often shifts as you get more empathy.
Yes.
So the target is moving.
Yes.
And until you've completed the empathy process,
Yes.
the target doesn't hold still.
So maybe that's the first step. If you're prone to fixing and if it's really hard to let go of that reflex, fix through empathy. Trust that is the path to fixing, quote unquote, the problem.
Oh my God. And then once your kids, there's an episode on the heart hug, one of the first episodes we've done.
Oh my God. That has been the greatest tool
Yeah.
in our toolbox, or one of them anyway.
Yeah. And Jordan the other night asked me for a heart hug, and I knew I was all right. I'm ready. Let's do it. And she gave me, and I was like, oh boy, this is a problem I could fix. And I just kept saying in my head, she just wants a heart hug. She just wants a heart hug. Don't fix it. Don't fix it. And I gave her this heart hug, and I was hearing her out. It was about a problem with a friend, and she's figuring it out. And then she's like, oh, Dad, you give the best heart hugs.
Yes, I was going to say, you do give the best heart hugs. Mom, will bite her tongue, and in there seeps something that no longer makes it a heart hug. So, yes.
But then what was cool about that was that she then, so in addition to bragging about my ability to give heart hugs, what was cool about that was that she all of a sudden got empowered around how she was going to navigate the friend thing. Yes. And what really was helping her was her finding her power to navigate this and do it on our own.
That's the beauty of empathy, is you give somebody else the power to trust their own ability to solve
Yes.
the problem.
Yes.
Versus, this is the thing we all know, you teach a man to fish versus you give them a fish. And through empathy, you're really teaching them how to fish. So I love that.
All right. Oh, we're trying these new game things, and this one, what I was throwing around was something called tension trade-offs, the game where clarity is optional.
Okay.
So when you're given two emotionally honest options and both are a little uncomfortable, there's no right answer, just the answer that tells you something real about what you're needing, fearing, or protecting. So each trade-off is designed to create an internal pause, a wait, I don't really know here type of moment, and a soft doorway into your nervous system story. So, for example, the voice of vulnerability would be the first one. And it's would you rather ask for exactly what you want and risk it being dismissed or unmet? Or soften or shrink your ask just a little to increase the odds of it being received?
I hate would you rathers because I'm always this one and da.
The kids love would you rather fall off a building or get beaten up with a baseball bat? I'm like, that's a terrible question.
So my instinct would probably be to I'd love to ask for what I want and risk it being dismissed, but I will soften or shrink the ask to increase the odds of it being received. With the hope that maybe if that's received, I can elevate the ask.
One risks rejection and the other risks resentment.
Yes.
And which is more costly?
Yes.
Because I think people are going to swallow their resentment easier than they're going to swallow rejection.
Yes.
Because resentment, they can sort of keep internal.
Resentment,
rejection.
they know. Resentment is external. Rejection is internal. I think that's harder.
Yeah, I think so. And what were you taught about asking directly for what you want? So what was your conditioning culturally?
I think we were invited to ask for what we want, but, the Rolling Stones song, you can't always get what you want. So yes, we got what we needed.
Yeah, you listened to a lot of Rolling Stones growing up?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Specifically that song.
Specifically that song. In fact, our girls know that song too, and I have helped them hate it because of the context that I put it in.
Ruined a perfectly good Rolling Stones song.
I know. What about this one? Peace or honesty? Would you rather keep the peace during a moment of tension, knowing it might build up in your body, or say the honest thing that might create a short-term rupture?
I think it depends on the relationship. If I have security in the relationship, I probably will risk the temporary rupture. But if I don't have trust and security in the relationship, I'm going to do the first one. What was the first one again?
Keep the peace.
Keep the
Artificial
peace.
harmony.
Artificial harmony all the way.
Yes, indeed. Now, something that I value that you said, I should have changed it and said just create a rupture, is you trust that in your honesty, when you have that relationship, in your honesty, it will be a temporary rupture because you will come out on the other end connected. I think the stakes are elevated when you don't trust that it's going to be a temporary rupture. And then the choice for artificial harmony is
right, because I've worked with some clients, for example, where if there's a rupture, they might not talk to their partner for weeks. That's so painful that they're like, hey, artificial harmony all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the missed moments of connection that ultimately are so costly because every one of those builds distance.
Yeah. And that's why I think there's this beauty to nonviolent communication, because it teaches you how to be authentic without the rupture, or to decrease the chances of rupture.
Or trust the repair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me another one.
All right, here we go. Presence or protection? Would you rather stay present during your partner's emotional spiral, even if it pulls you under a little, or create a boundary and walk away to protect your own regulation, even if it leaves them feeling a sense of abandonment?
Okay. So I do stay present during an emotional spiral, even if it pulls me under a little.
You've been doing that?
Now, well,
I had no idea.
I tell you later.
gotta stop doing it. What are you doing?
Hold on. But I tell you later that I'm not saying it's a perfect practice. I'm saying this is what I do. I will address it later, and maybe share that with you, or I do share that with you. But I think ideally, I'd want to create a boundary and not just walk away, but let my partner know why I'm walking away. I'm walking away to self-regulate so I can be that container for you. Let me come back can I come back in 10 minutes?
So it's sort of like that line that we have everybody memorize, which is, I can't think of anything to say right now that will contribute to us. And I want to because I care about you and love you.
Yes.
So I'm going to take 10, 15 minutes.
Yes.
And I'll be back.
Yes, because then the walking away is an effort to support and contribute to the relationship, not an abandonment. So the either or here, not ideal, which is why I chose the first one. But I think it is really important to create that boundary. If you're not available for that container, if you're not available for that heart hug, it's important to share that authentically, but sharing it with care.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So it's, staying may cost you your own regulation, but leaving may cost you your connection.
Yes.
And often people are willing to treat themselves worse than other people.
And you can get the both and. You can get your regulation and maintain the connection by just tweaking that a little bit.
All right. Hit me with the last one here.
The last one. All right. So would you rather do the supportive action your partner needs, watch the kids, make dinner, but not say anything emotional, or say the emotionally affirming thing they long for, but not actually follow through on the practical support? So would you rather do the thing or say the thing?
I probably would. My default is more of like the doing. So I think I would lean towards the doing all the stuff that needs to be done. Needs to, right? Needs in quote. And I would push off the emotional. Yeah, I'm not happy about that, but that's probably my answer.
Yeah, these are horrible. These are like, would you eat a spider or a cockroach? These are our children.
But that's good to know because I think these are helpful too, actually. Because
Yes.
it's like, oh, okay, my learning edge is around, in this case, on the emotional side. Because you want to do the both and.
Yes.
But I know where I'm going to, if I'm not thinking both and, I'm going to fall here. So I got to put a little less extra attention on the emotional side.
Yes. And that's I think the key in all of these is neither is enough on its own. It is a both and.
Yeah, that's the key.
All right, Matthew. So what do we want to leave our...
You tell them. You hit them.
I hit them with one last thing.
Well, don't hit them. Don't hit them. Use care. Use
Our
care.
final reflection said with great care.
Just one last thing.
The greatest act of love is returning to ourselves, to each other, to the choice to be present again, even when it's messy, and actually, especially when it's messy. Yeah. So I love that. I think the ability to return to a relationship, return to a connection, return to ourselves, is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to us, to each other, to our children.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody listening.
Yes, thanks for listening.
And please email us at parents@webetogether.com with your stories, your
Hit
questions.
us with some more Would You Rathers.
Hit us.
I like that.
You like this? And then also please rate, review, and subscribe and share this with everybody you know. It really helps us. And definitely come back next week. We look forward to spending more time with everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.